Hello and welcome to the Adventure Toolkit example reel number 22. My name is Glenn Storm. I'm from Hot Iron Productions, and it's been a long time since we have had an example reel. So there's a lot to catch up on. We've gone through several versions. I cannot detail this many tools in this amount of time. I'd refer you to our updated reference manual. Long story short, there's a lot of new tools, but we're going to focus on today's new 1.7 editions, including a few tools that I can demonstrate right now. We have here is a blank project in Unity. And the first thing I want to do is demonstrate how easy it is to install since the last time we had an example reel. Well, it's, the package manager, and it's not hard at all. You can just say, give me the Adventure Toolkit and import it directly into my project, and away you go. It comes in as a plugin. This means that there's a folder called plugins. If you open it up, you'll see Adventure Toolkit. You open that up and you see documentation. This is where the README file is and that reference manual. So you can look at all the new tools. Cool. Those who are familiar with the Adventure Toolkit understand that it's a big collection of tools in several categories that allow you to just use simple components to do the most common game programming tasks, but without code. Yeah, you can make whole games without code using the Adventure Toolkit. That's the point. So let's focus on the additions in version 1.7 and briefly gloss over a couple of the tools along the way. A couple of the tools from 1.5, 1.7, for example, one of them being Math Relay, HUD bar. These are things that we've added recently, but today we're going to talk about random value. This is meant to be part of a series of tools that handle calculations, and a glaring missing thing in games would be to have random value. So this will give you the ability to simply click the tool on at runtime, and it will give you random values between a minimum maximum value, and that's pretty basic and straightforward. You can then take that value, like with a math relay, and send it to something like an economy trigger, or in this case a HUD bar, so we can see it, and that's pretty cool. The difference is you might want a different type of random. For example, if I click this now, you're going to see the number between 0 and 10, no big deal, and followers of the Adventure Toolkit understand that I can trigger an event to just do a bunch of tools and have something going on. In this case, I'm going to show you the HUD bar so you understand what this number actually looks like. So I can click this random value and I can trigger the random value and get a flat random, meaning the distribution is flat. The number that results could be anywhere in the range, and you never know what you're going to get. Well, that's as opposed to saying you would like a weighted random, which is weighted more towards the bottom. So if I keep clicking on this now, you'll notice that the resulting values are going to be closer to the left side. The numbers are lower and closer to the minimum value than the maximum. The maximum is rare, so you can do rarity that way. Another way you can do random is Gaussian, which is another way to say bell curve. And that means that it's going to be more likely in the middle. It could be on the edges, but that's rare. It's more likely to be in the middle. Okay, that's random value. To go along with Math Relay, Economy Trigger, and other tools, you can get a pretty good random value. That's a minor tool, but it's an addition. It's a good one. Now let's look at Notification Manager. This simplifies the common task of needing to display for the player some simple messages like, hey, you just leveled up, or that door is locked, or you just spent 5 gold at the store, or whatever it is, right? This notification manager comes with standard and very deep styling settings, so you can do that. This is what it looks like by default. I can be running and send with a notify trigger a simple message like, hey, you just leveled up, and there it is on the screen, and I can send more of those messages, and they stack. That's what the notification manager is designed to do. Show this on the HUD, and you can put this anywhere on the screen you want. You can even have it stack in different ways or even in a different direction. That's cool. These are single messages here on the notify trigger, and I can definitely tell you the door is locked. And what they do is they sit there on the screen and then time out and fade out, and the stack moves up. Okay, but if you want to get fancy, and of course we all do, you could have them fade in, slide up, you could have a background, you can have a drop shadow, because yeah, we want our stuff to look cool. So this is the fancier settings on the same tool. You just click, I just changed the settings. And after a little while, it will fade out. So you can tell your player what's going on. You might want to send multiple messages because so much stuff happened. And you can do that, but with the same notify trigger, because you could just override the notification line with a series of notifications, and it all shows up at the same time. This will add to whatever notification stack there is. So that's what the notification manager is meant to do, is handle that stack and then display it for you, or display it for the player in a logical way. Okay. Those are cool tools. These are nice additions, but the real star of this update is player input. This takes care of a couple of things. For one thing, there's a new input system in Unity, and all of the tools have been revised to handle either the legacy input or the new one. But this input manager exclusively is for the new input manager, frankly, so we can take advantage of Gamepad. This allows you to set up controls and combos, and then trigger your trigger systems as normal. You can toggle, you can activate, you can deactivate, or you can activate on actuation. So let's look at what that looks like. I'm going to set up some controls, and rather than just being a raw control, I also have the ability to do some rules along the way and say, yeah, I want to see what's going on with this keyboard key when it's held. Cool. This one says, I want to know if it's been held for a certain length of time. I have a hold threshold that I can set, and suddenly it must meet that threshold before it is called actuated. In other words, I'm sitting here, I can play this, and I can press the W key. You can look here. I can press the W key and activate my tool, sure. But if I hold it down for more than a second, that's when the other one can be actuated. And I'm just toggling here to show you the change in the hierarchy, but your triggers may want it to activate or deactivate or actuate on, or activate on actuation, which is what the W key one is doing right now. Cool. So you have the keyboard, you also have mouse, you also have gamepad. And so here I'm doing triggers for the right mouse button, and I can right click a number of times, and there I've clicked it. I've released 4 times. And I can continue to right click and release, and suddenly I get my other one done. This is simply sending it through a counter trigger. This is, for those of you familiar with the Adventure Toolkit, this is just another tool we just threw on to handle the rules of our system. So it depends on what kind of game you want. But this is the power of the Adventure Toolkit, and I'm just showing you now the addition of this tool can do so much more, like with Gamepad. So here I have a couple of gamepads connected. Let's see, the A button, the A button on one gamepad is being toggled on and off directly on first press. The other gamepad that I have connected is ready to go on the left trigger, and I would need to, just like our controls, hold for a certain length of time before it is actuated. But more than that, because I'm going to be looking at a trigger, I'm looking at this gamepad trigger, there's a value that I can look at as well. And I'm going to require that the player not only hold it for 0.75 seconds, but I'm also going to require they hold it down for more than halfway. So I could be sitting here and kind of holding it down a little bit, but it's not until I hold it all the way down for that length of time that it is registered as actuated. So again, I'm toggling, but you can do different things on your tools. So let's look at this. Notice too, these names here on this array are being updated while you configure it. I should actually make a new one just to show you what that looks like. You're here and you're saying, I want to look at the keyboard now. And notice I'm not in play mode. I am in real time deciding I want to do the enter key, and I would like it to not be hold but first press, and I want it to go to the main camera. I don't really want to do that. But notice that this is showing you the configuration right now, and that's helpful because you may have misconfigured it, and it will tell you when things are not ready to go, and that's a good thing. Again, that's happening while I'm not in play mode, so it's kind of cool. Now, combos. So controls are great because now I'm adding game rules to simple game signals before my trigger system is going to respond, and that's cool. But combos are also common game needs. And this is an example of a simple heavy attack. It's got 2 steps where I need to hold down one button, the left mouse button, for 0.5 seconds. At that point, I can move on to the next step in this combo. A combo is just a number of steps the player has to complete or satisfy before the combo is achieved. In this case, they have to press this mouse button and hold it down, and then they're required to release it. At that time, they have achieved the combo, and there's a time limit at which they have to be able to release it to achieve the combo. Any step can have more than one or more required controls, and any step can have a time limit. If it goes past that time limit, the whole combo is canceled. This challenges the player, and of course, that's exactly what combos are designed to do. So in this case, I'm going to play, and I'm going to try to get this heavy attack, and I'm going to hold down the left mouse button and try to release just in time. If I hold down too long, no, it doesn't work. But if I hold down just in time, I can get the combo. Okay. It is hard. Speaking of hard, could you do something crazy like the Konami code? Oh, yeah. No, it's not a big deal. It's just a number of steps. If the player can get through up, down, left, right, A, B, start, yeah, they got the Konami code. So let's see if I can actually do it while we're demoing here. Up, down, left, right, A, B, start. Yep. And this is on gamepad 1, which would be player 2. And so now your games can be configured right here in this tool. You don't have to write a line of code at all, but this tool handles game rules about player input. And isn't that nice? Again, there's a lot of updates, and we can't go through all of them, but we can tell you that there's a reference manual ready for you to show off all the cool stuff that's here. The Adventure Toolkit is designed to help anyone make games without code. Imagine that. For a cheap price, I'm telling you, 68 tools do this because they each handle one thing, some of the most common game programming tasks, but you don't have to write a line of code, and they all work together. You can fit these together any way you want. So head on over to the Unity Asset Store and buy this. And I thank you.